everyone, my name is Anshika Jain and I hope all of you are doing well. I am working currently as legal intern in Lexis and Law Company for the month of July. So today I have come with the topic that is called the law of sedition in India. So today I am going to discussing about all the detailed analysis of the sedition, how it is dealt in India, in which article it is mentioned. So let's discuss it. Under Article 19(1), Subclause A of the Indian Constitution, every citizen has a right to talk and express their opinions. However, this liberty is not unrestricted, and under Article 19, Subclause 2, some legitimate limitations of the freedom of speech and expressions have been established. When a person, through his words, signs, or representations, commits an act that is considered disrespectful of the Indian government, then such act is punishable under Section 124, Subclause A of the Indian Penal Code 1860. So, sedition is an offence that criminalizes speech that is regarded to be disloyal or to the threatening to the state. Now, let's discuss actually what is sedition. So, conduct of a speech that ends in a mutiny against the authority of a state is what the term sedition means. Section 124A of the IPC, it considered that a legitimate restriction on the freedom of speech and expression is termed as a law of sedition. In 1870, the Thomas Macaulay drafted it and it was firstly introduced. Now let's discuss the origin of sedition law. How can it be summarized? So first one is that how it started. The Wahhabis movement of the 19th century is linked to the origin of India's sedition law. Sayyid Ahmad Beralabi, he was the leader of this Islamic revivalist movement. This movement has been active since 1830, but in the aftermath of the 1857 revolution, it evolved into armed resistance, a jihad against the British. The British termed Wahhabis as rebels and they carried out military operation against the Wahhabis. Now let's discuss the historical background. The IPC 1860 did not include Section 124A during the British era. But however, the IPC Amendment Act of 1870 added this into the section of the IPC. According to the British era law, under the IPC, exciting or attempting to stir sentiments or disaffection was classified as sedition. This provision was then amended by Section 124A by an amendment in the Act of 1898. Now let's discuss what are the activities that can be considered seditious in the nature. What constitutes sedition in India is a contentious issue. According to the IPC, an act must contain the following elements to consider to be seditious. Any words, whether written or spoken, as well as signs such as placards or posters, visible representation, must incite hostility, disdain, dissatisfaction with the Indian government, and it must lead to imminent violence or a public disobedience. Groups are raising slogans against the government like Khalistan Zindabad. Individuals who raise slogans once or twice were not considered seditious. To be judged seditious, a speaker's remarks, it must provoke violence or public disorder. Following cases have gone to be expand the definition to include incitement to impending violence. Now let's discuss the various and very important case laws regarding the seditious law. The first case was Kedarnath Singh versus State of Bihar. The statute was found to be constitutional as it encompassed written or spoken comments that had the implied intention of undermining the government through violence. Citizens can criticize the government without intending to cause public unrest as long as they are not inciting people to violence against the government. The important case, it was the Balwant Singh and another versus State of Punjab. So it held that the accused had raised the slogan Khalistan Zindabad outside a cinema theatre after Prime Minister Indira Gandhi was assassinated. It was decided that two people shouting slogans on the street could not be regarded to be as inciting discontentment within the government. The provisions of Section 124A would not apply in this scenario. So we can come to the conclusion that in a violation of Article 19, sedition is the most serious offence. As a result, sedition legislation should have explicitly included language that satisfied Article 90's limits. The goal of the Sedition Act speech restriction is to preserve the national security. The Supreme Court's rules should be followed while interpreting and applying the sedition statutes. So I hope all of you have understood actually what is sedition law and how it is implemented and followed in our country. So thank you very much for listening to me attentively.